I think, okay, let me just repeat what I was saying. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do an end-to-end data analysis project, then analyze, come up with the sentiments, and yeah, we call it a day. So what I want you guys to do is now import the necessary libraries from your end. So what you want to do is open Visual Studio Code. Share my Visual Studio Code. I think now it's visible. So what you want to do is open the Visual Studio Code, then import the necessary libraries. So, okay, let me just leave it. Import Streamlit as STM import pandas PD. And in case you come across the yellow lines that indicate that there's an error, what you want to do is install pandas directly from the terminal, or you can either choose your command prompt, which can also install, or you can also download it directly from the terminal. So what you want to do is, in case you run some errors, just open the U terminal, then run pip install panda, then run it. It will install the pandas. So in case you want to install matplotlib or any other library, that is the same step. So you'll just come here, pip install matplotlib. No matching distribution file for matplotlib. Oh, let me see if it's in the steps. Maybe it has already done now. We'll check that. Pip install by and pip that is the first thing that you want to do. So after running that, then import the desired library. So in this case, let's check from our curriculum. What is the first library that we're going to use? So we're going to import plotly.express. So import plot. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can see this yellow line. So it states that there is no library. The ID does not recognize this library since we have not installed it. So we're going to install it. Let's give it some few seconds. Meanwhile, you can be checking the next step that we are going to do. So let's head to our curriculum. So that is the first step, which is importing the necessary libraries. So the next thing, before even taking this URL, let's see if this is an existing URL. So let me just copy it and new tab and okay, so it is a CSV type of a file with all these data, the names, the gender. So these are the labels. So it's passenger IDs, survived, P class, name, sex, age, siblings or spouse, patch, ticket, fare, cabin, embarked. So those are the columns that are available in this CSV data. So this is the data that we're going to process inside our app. So we just take this. Yeah, I think it's okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is now paste this. So what this does is it fetches this data in this form, which is in this form, it is in a URL. So it will fetch that data into your URL, then note it as a variable with the variable name URL. So that when we reference it, when we're trying to read the CSV data, we will just reference to this URL instead of going directly to, let me, should I call it URL? Quality or since there's a problem when I'm trying to explain. So as I was saying, the reason we have given it the variable name UR is because when we want to fetch it and read the data, we don't want to go directly to this URL. So we'll just give it the variable name UR. Then when we are reading it and converting it into a data frame, it is easier since we're referencing it in form of a URL. Then we read the CSV file. In this case, we're using pandas to read the CSV file, then give it the variable name data, which in this case, it will be a data frame. I think we're good till there. So let's,
Dan, please check the chat.
sorry, I think I've had somebody ask a question or something.
I'm saying check the chat.
I share in the chat the URL. Okay, I think you're vague with your requests. I don't understand what you really.
I was asking you to check the chat for questions.
Oh, let me check the chat. Okay, I think it's not notifying me. So, oh, please send the GitHub link to the curriculum. Okay, let me just paste it. That is where you'll just click on that link, then it will redirect you to the curriculum, then fetch this URL data right here. I'm sorry about that. I keep missing questions. I don't know what's up with my phone. I don't know if the issue is in it or my Zoom, but we'll proceed. Thank you for notifying me of that. So as I was explaining, so it will fetch the URL, convert it into a data frame, then reference it. When we're creating the data frame, we reference the variable name for easier reference later on. So we'll now inspect the data as our curriculum is stating. So what we want to do is um, before you can install the required virtual environments so that we can run it in an interactive window so that we can see what is the output. You can also check it from right on it. Next, we'll just use our lab for such an instance. Okay, it's taking much of our time. Let's just paste this code directly to our Google Lab instead of Visual Studio. CSV file. Scan it and see if it's success. The more URL, so just click that. Okay, or check that. I think we're good. Yeah, it has read the CSV file, so I think we are good till then. Let me see if oh, it has it also from our other IDE. So in this case, from Visual Studio Code, it has ran, but you'll have to install first Jupyter. But it will direct you on that. So you'll just when you run this, when you right click, then run in interactive window, then run current file, it will redirect you and tell you the things that you need to install for it to run in interactive window, but on a virtual environment. So in this case, it ran this, and yeah, I think we can see the top five rows. Okay, so we'll keep on alternating between Colab and Visual Studio, but Visual Studio Code will be our we'll be using Visual Studio. So let's head back to curriculum. So now we have loaded the data, then we have verified that the data is working. So now the next thing is to check for missing values, and the keyword here is null. So you can omit the extension .sum, but we don't want to omit it since it tallies all the missing values in a certain row, then gives you the total tally in that certain column. Sorry, not row, but column. So in this case, when we run this, we already have a preview of what we are supposed to expect. So on the passenger ID column, we expect 0 missing values. On survived, we expect 0 missing values. On P class, which I think means passenger class, we expect 0, same thing. So that is simply what we expect. So let's run this. And it's here. So what we want to do is space this. Same space. Okay, then now run it. So as you can see right here on our not on our Jupyter, so you can see it has given us the same data that we have seen from our curriculum. So on the preview, you had seen the passenger ID is 0, the survived ones zero, passenger class 0, name 0, sex 0, age 177. Siblings SIBS SP means sibling spouse. Parch, ticket, fare, cabin, embarked. That is simply. So we have eliminated and checked where the missing values. So once again, we'll head back now and see the next step. So which is now data pre-processing. So we want, so here we have checked and seen that there are missing values in this column. So you can see on the edge, there are 177 missing values. On the cabin, there are 687 missing values, and embarked, there are 2. So what we want to do first is like fill these missing value gaps. And what the code that we'll run, I'll just paste it, paste this, then explain it. So what this does is it takes the column inside the data which we named data. So in this case, this was the original data which was in a form of a URL. Then we converted it into a variable with a variable name data. And in this case, it read the CSV file. So this URL contained data that was in CSV, so comma separated values as we had seen when we ran the raw URL. Then after converting it into a variable and after storing it in a variable, so this simply is this URL. So it will reference this URL and then the column age in this URL. So we had seen here, have a look at the right side of our IDE or of our page. You can see the first missing value was 177, which was in the column age. So in this case, you have taken the data, which in this case we referenced it as data. Then you specify that you wanted to take this column, then fill the missing values, fill not a number value. And in this case, what will you fill in that? Not a number value. So in case we ignore this, in case we ignore this line of code, in case we leave it that way, when we run it, it will fill those empty values with the value 0. But in this case, we want to fill it with something that makes sense. So what you're going to fill with it is, we're going to fill it with the median age, the median value of the column age. So when it tallies the sum, let me paste it. So what median? I think we all know what median is. So it is when you arrange them in the descending or ascending order. So the value that will be on the center of that array of values is the median. So that is simply how we are going to fill the values in the age column. So as I've said, if we ignore this line of code, it will fill the missing values with the value 0. And that's not what we want. So we'll head back to so the next column, which in this case was embarked. So we'll just take this. That's the case here. Okay, and that is the case. But I don't know why we've skipped cabin. Let's see why we're skipping cabin. In C5. has valid inputs, but okay, we'll just follow what the curriculum states, but I don't recommend dropping the whole column. So okay, we'll just drop the whole column. But let's first fill in the missing values in the embarked column. So what we want to do is now, as you can see, the syntax is still the same, but in this case, we are filling the missing values in the embarked column by finding the mode of the values that are in the embarked. So the most common, the most frequent value in this column, in this embarked column, is what will be filled in the missing values area. Let's see if there is one here. Hmm. It's in letters of but what it will do, it will figure out the pattern in it, then find out which is the most common value or most frequent value. Then for all those missing values in the embarked column, it will replace them with the most frequent value. So that is data processing. Then now dropping the cabin. Which I don't really recommend, but let's follow what the curriculum says since we don't want to run some errors later on and see we messed up, then start from scratch again. So in this case, it will drop the whole column cabin. Yes. So, I need to breathe. I think we're good till there. So that is data pre-processing. So now the next thing we're going to do is now create new columns. So the columns that we're going to create here, as we can see from our, I hope you guys can see. So the new columns that we're going to create in this new data set are family size and another column called is alone. So family size, we're going to create it based off adding up siblings slash spouse column with the patch column, then add an extra one. So let's run this. Now we'll create a new column. So in this case, we're taking referencing back to the data frame, which in this case is given the variable name data. Then create the new column. So in this case, we'll name this column family size, which is created based off data of siblings spouse column plus the patch column plus one. But you can also leave the value is empty, but in this case we're adding the columns since we want to find new data. So when we check, let's see or let's check from our Jupyter. um patch. I'm not really sure if there's value in this whole column, but yeah, let's assume there is. Let's print the first like 20 columns there and see. Picha value string to is set on a copy of what it is. They are restricting me because of the pandas version. The behavior will change in pandas 3. Okay, they're limiting this code based off future assumptions. Let me just run it again from Google Colabs that we can see if there is any value in there in the patch column. Also restricting me here. What's Yeah, there are actual values in the patch area. So yeah, I think that that line of code is not bad. So we'll just proceed. IDE. So actually let's report our curriculum. So we've created the new row called family size, which is based off adding the column sibling spouse plus patch plus an extra one. So then the next thing is we're going to do is create a new binary feature that is going to indicate whether the user is traveling alone or with another person or with another family. So let's paste it. And in case I don't see the question, please you can unmute your mic then state that I'm not seeing your question. So now there is a new column called is alone. So in this case, it's going to apply a lambda. So this is what is going to check if the user is traveling with another person or alone. So what we are going to run here is a function called dot apply. I think you had already discussed it with John, but if you hadn't, let's explain. So when you're using the dot apply function in Python, you must specify the rules or set of conditions that are supposed to be followed. So in this case, we're using a lambda. So lambda, we have given it the value x, the value x, which simply, if x is strictly equals to 1, then apply this column. Then if not, then note it as 0. We'll just run it in the terminal. Okay. Okay. So now let's head back to our curriculum. So we've created the new column. So in this case, we've created two columns. There is alone, which checks if the user is traveling alone, and the family size, which simply adds the spouse and patch column. So the next thing we're going to do is now visualize the data. And this in this case, we are going to visualize using Plotly. So let's take this, and we'll explain it. Yeah. This is the comment we're going to add it so that we when maybe another data scientist is trying to read your code, it's quite easy. So Yes. 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 What's going on here? Ah, that's okay. So we have forgotten where we are. Oh, we are visualizing the data. So the first category we're going to visualize the data is survival rate by gender. Then the next one will be survival rate by passengers class. Then the other one will be age distribution of passengers. In this case, we'll use a histogram. Then age distribution by survival status. Then analyze the correlations between both um uh, between certain between correlation between when you are in this class you will survive because of this. That is what that is what simply correlation means. How this is how one outcome is afflicting the other one. So we're just going to copy this. In this case, we've created a new variable called gender underscore survival. And in this case, now we are going to group them according to the column sex and then group them by the sex that survived. So if the male survived, we'll group them in one section. Then if this number of females survived, we'll group them in another section. Then find the mean of the tallies that will be the tallies. If 20 men survived in this certain column, they'll calculate the mean of I don't know why we're using mean actually. Why are we using it? We're plotting a bar graph, so there's no use of mean. So so we have grouped them by sex, then group them according to the number of people that survived in that certain column. Then we're going to create a figure. So in this case, we're going to plot a bar graph. And in this case, we are referencing back to this data right here, which we've given it the variable name gender survival. So we'll reference back to that. So that is the data that we'll be plotting the bar graph. So on the x-axis, we want it to be sex. On the y-axis, we want it to be the number of users that survived. And the title of that whole um uh, whole column should be survival rate by not whole column, but the whole figure should be survival rate by gender. Now we show. So let's run this in an interactive window. Okay, let's see what the error is. Attribute error. Series group has no attribute. We'll have to replace this. Again, let's see. If we run it, it changed. Value X is not the name of a column in the data frame. Expected one of here. Yes. All. Yes. Have a look at it. Yeah, this is the output. So when we run this line of code, so the only change that I've made on this is I've replaced the x-axis, since now the default column will be now the x-axis. So when you see here, when we're plotting the bar graph, I've only labeled the y-axis survived. So I've just it will just take the default column as the x-axis. So plot survived against sex. So we can see this is the mean value of the number of females that survived, and this is the mean value of the males that survived. So, and that's the tag survival rate by gender. So we've visualized the survival rates based off gender. So the next thing will be now survival rate by passenger class. So we want to see if when you're in this certain class, what is your chance of survival? So we'll just take this page here, same category. So in this case, we've given it a new variable name, so called P class survival, then grouped the data according to P class column, then check the survived row, then find the mean. So in this case, I'll just omit the reset index. You won't use it on the group by function. Then now plot a figure. In this case, we're plotting a bar graph. In this, where we are referencing back to this data right here. So on the x-axis, we want the P class. On the y-axis, we want survived. Then the title will be survival rate by passenger class. So let's see if it run to the same error. So yeah, we have. What I'll do is take that and the new code. Then now this is the survival rate by passenger class. So if you are in P class, passenger class number 1, your survival rate will have been 0.62. Yeah, you can truncate that. If you are in passenger class number 2, your survival rate was 0.4728. And if you are in the third class, your survival rate would have been 0.2423625. So the next thing we're going to visualize is now the age distribution of passengers. So in this case, it will just plot histogram. Add it here and run it. So now this was the age distribution. Yeah, so in this case, it has taken this data, which we can see right here on the URL. So the reason of the main purpose of commenting down your code is for easier reference. So in this case, we are referencing back to this data here. Then on the x-axis, we want it to be age. On the y-axis, we want it to be beans. Not y-axis, sorry. On the x-axis, we want it to be age and the number of beans to be 50. So it will distribute them. When we count these beans, these individual beans, 1, 2, 3, 4. When we count them, then the number will tally to 50 beans. Then the title will be age distribution of passengers. So this was the age distribution of passengers. So from age 2, there were 16 passengers. Age 4, there were 14, so on and so forth. So age 28 was 224. Yeah. So age distribution by survival status. So what we're going to do here is just we're going to add color based off the survived one. So let's change this. This. Then let's run it. Wait. Oh, there's a missing. Let's see. Right here, we first thing to note here is we have the legend right here on the top right. Then so in this case we have distinguished the survival rate based off the age using color. So for those who survived in the age 20, which is this age 24, 0, and so the survived one survived number of passengers was 1 based based off the count 50. Then on this, it was 0 based off the count 157, but based off the count 67, it was 1. Yeah, so that is age distribution by survival status. Now the last thing is we're going to analyze the correlation. So just going to take this, copy it in hub. We had already discussed about how correlation is. So the built-in function for correlation is dot core. So that is what tells the IDE or the ICE that in this case we want to correlate this data frame and find the correlation between these certain value, not values, but these certain data sets. So in this case, we have we have correlated then, given the variable name correlation matrix. Then when we create a figure so that we can see the correlation between the data set, we use the IM show button. Is this up to date? So let's run it. See. Yeah, that is the issue. Let's see what it says. Will not convert string to float. Okay, we'll just drop that. Let's see the columns that contain floats. In this case, I'll just take first this. Name, we'll omit name, sex, and we'll omit those two. So what is fully come out. Yeah, who have affected a couple of some other visualization syntax. This case, let me just drop this. So that's good now. It's not that relation, but it's another column that is also there are so many columns. Check that column. This. Okay. So we'll omit this and this. You get carbon tickets. I've seen. Okay, go to run. Miscellaneous relation. Yes, so this not. Drop that ticket and back there. Okay, so this is the correlation between these figures right here. So passenger ID, survived, P class, age, sibling, spouse, fare, family size is alone against the same. So when you hover over it, so which is the most likely? So you can check right here from this color filter right here, not filter, but the dense color. It will tell you that the highest rate of survival will be noted by this color right here, and the least rate of survival based off the correlation between the two figures will be this dark color. So if it's one, so in this case you can see passenger ID doesn't really matter. There's no correlation between you surviving or dying based off the passenger ID. So there's no correlation between those two. So P class. So your chances of surviving um when you were in this class was -0. The correlation between surviving and this will be -0.33. The correlation between surviving and the age, I don't this is not, it's not quite detailed, but yeah, we'll work with it. -0.6, -0.03 for the spouse, negative 0.08 base of patch. So what do you expect? The highest correlation between you surviving or dying will be based off the class that you are in. I think that's common knowledge since when you have a look at it, uh, uh, is this that which train did I want? Let's say it was a train. So when you were in, let's say, coach number one, then there was an explosion from the driver's cabin. So you expect the class that you're in will determine if you survive. So if you're in class one, your chances of surviving are zero, almost zero. They're not zero, but they're almost zero. So that's why you'll find that survival, finding the correlation between the class that the passenger was, and the survival rate is quite minimum, since that is the main correlation between the two. In case there was an explosion in a certain class, the correlation between the two tallies, the two variables is negative 0.338481. Yeah. So let's see what the next thing is. And in case you guys have a question, please ask it on the group chat. The next thing is now creating a Streamlit app to deploy the values that we've seen. So this case, take the only thing that we have not imported is Streamlit. So we're going to head back to our IDE Visual Studio Code, then deploy our app to Streamlit. So let me share. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing this since we have made changes on our Google Colab. Just copy the ones. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, so we'll just import Streamlit. Yeah. But and once again, in the beginning of the class, I said if you have not imported either of this, so you'll just open your terminal here on the top left, open the terminal, then pip install the required libraries. So you'll just import pandas, plotly, streamlit, all the libraries that we are going to use. So you can see when we want to add a title now to the app, we had discussed yesterday on how to add a title. So in this case, so we'll use st.title. So I'll just copy it from curriculum. Come here. So now I'll implement this as I'll paste that. So the title for our app will be Titanic data analysis. Then the sub will be this app analyzes or the text that will appear here, but it will simply appear as a heading too. So it will state this app analyzes the Titanic dataset and displays various visualizations. So the next thing is not to load the dataset and preprocess it. Just copy this. You guys are following up from our curriculum. So now we have defined a new function, or yeah, let's call it function. So we've defined a new function. In this case, we have given it load data as the function name, and in this case, it's referencing back to the URL that contains the data sets, which in this form it is in a form of CSV. So we now read the CSV file and convert it into a data frame using pandas. Then this all of this code we had rewritten it right here on the data processing. But now since we're using Streamlit, we'll have to define a new function so that we can reference to it later on. So after running all this, then it returns the data, and now the data is this whole function. We'll rename it to data for this whole function, the load data function. So we'll display now the data optionally. Just run this. So if the user checks box the show data column, it will show the subheader, raw data, and now display this. So the reason we were converting this into a function, then storing it in a variable, was this right here. So in this case, you can see we have stored this whole function in this data frame and given it the variable name data. So now we head back to curriculum. So now the next thing is creating the visualizations using Plotly and display them in the app. So just copy this. Out and say. The first visualization will be a bar graph. So the only thing that you need to see, the only difference between this syntax and the one that we're used to, first things first, I need to hit this, this, that, so we don't run into errors again. So so the difference, the only new thing that you need to see here is when you're plotting a Plotly graph on Streamlit, you start with the Streamlit alias name st. But now it knows that we are dealing with now Streamlit. Then dot Plotly chart now, which is the built-in function for creating the chart. Then now you reference to the data that you want to create the chart of. So in this case, we have created the bar graph based off this data right here. Then given it the variable name fig underscore gender underscore survival. Now, when you plot a chart, we reference back to that data. We'll just go to the next one. The next one, which is survival rate by passenger class. So once again, the only thing that you need to know here is the st.plotly chart is the new thing that you've learned. This case, once again, take this out, reset index. Then the next one will be age distribution, the survival status. Thoughts. I think we're good. Okay. So let's this. See the behaviors that will run into. So I'm type rendering was so much. Terminal. Actual environment. Okay. Our syntax. Huge. Friends trust back. I think now we're good. Yeah, we're good. So now this is the final step, which is now deploying this data uh, on our Streamlit. So in this case, it's locally hosted. So um, when you run across the same challenge that we've run here, so first, instead of changing the whole syntax again, first omit the fill not a number of values. So omit this section right here that is filling the missing values as per now until I figure out what's happening here because it's a future warning. I don't understand what's up with it, but before we figure it out, you just comment it out. Then you Streamlit run. So when you run your app, what you do is the syntax right here. So after opening, let me close it. Then let me close the terminal again. Then run it. So you'll just head here, then open the new terminal, then Streamlit run. So in this case, the file here, this is the file name app.py. So in case I changed it to stream, so in case I changed it, so the new run, I won't use app.py. So I'll use stream.py. Then press enter, and it'll open it'll open a URL. So in this case, this is the URL. So you can click the show data, then it opens a new page. Yeah, that was the final step, which is now the most crucial step. So what I want you guys to do, I'll give you guys a CSV file, then I'll generate some questions. So I don't know if there is any question so far before even I deploy it. Is there any question based off what we've discussed today? Okay, if there is none, so I'll head off with the final step. So in this case, I have not created the Git, so I'll just deploy. And in the Streamlit community platform, there will be the app's code is not connected to a remote GitHub repository. To deploy on Streamlit, please put your code in a GitHub repository and publish the current branch. Use it then, deploy it in Snowflake. Oh, I thought you guys were seeing what I was saying. Oh, my bad. Now I've realized you're not. So let me reference back to it. So let me share my whole screen so you guys can see what is happening. So my bad for that. So what I was stating here is now, okay, so let me delete this tab. So let's run this so that you can see how it redirects you guys. So Streamlit run stream. Hope you guys can see. So it opens a new URL on your local machine in the in your browser. So in this case, it will redirect you to this. So this is the local host, and this is how it looks based off Streamlit. So this is Streamlit, the platform itself. So this is how the data looks. If you want to share the data in form of a URL, that is simply how you do it. So show raw data. Just close this too. Okay, so yeah, this is how it is. So as soon as you have ran the script, so in this case, streamlit run stream.py or the name of your file, then it redirects you here. So what you want to do is deploy. Then I want to use this. Okay, I'll use it, but you'll have to deploy the code to your GitHub repository. Let's just try it. Let's first try using this enterprise, this Snowflake one. Just shares different screen because maybe there's data there that is a bit sensitive. Now, instead of using that, let's just go the long way. So just open my GitHub. In this case, I'll just open GitHub, then add a new repository. In this case, let's name this repository Streamlit. File, let's make it private, a private repo, then create repository. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll head to my file location, file manager, then find where the stream file is. So in this case, mine is in desktop, then Streamlit. Share. Okay. You can see. Okay, so what I've done is head to desktop, then Streamlit, then right here, I'll just type in CFD. Then after it has opened the command prompt, I'll run git init. Oh, git init. Let's see then in this repo, Streamlit. Initially, the- You come credentials. Just a minute. Just one. Then, then, you just follow the first step, or you can also use the CD function. So you can use CD10, find the root of your file. And how do you find the root? So you just do this, just take it, then wherever it is, just take that, then tap in there, then Control C. Or you can just open it from here. Just do CMD. Then the next thing is the initialized existing Git. Oh, it is now an existing one. So what now I'll do is now I'll add all the files. So git add error, so it does not have for me to check it out. Streamlets up. Then you can change the basic. it adds. So the trick there is adding a space in between the full stop and the add. So this adds all the files. And if you wanted to add a specific file, you just use the backtick. So you just git add then the name of the file. But in this case, you want to add all the files. That is the step. So now git meet main branch. Yeah, file. Git um, Set your count default. But yeah, again, big running it. Hey, now it's yeah, just pushed it to the master. Now we'll add our remote repository. So we just do git remote at origin. Just go to our repo. Now I'll push it. Let it push. Then let me with this since it's sensitive things. But data. Yeah. Okay. It's dealing with the application parts. Let me push it again. I'm experiencing an issue in putting time information. But I'll simply touch this codes that you use when you're pushing to your repository. So after pushing it to your repository in your GitHub, what you'll do is the next step will be so easy. So before you verify this password of this account, what's since from my end I think it's okay. What after pushing it, so I'll attach this in a PDF right out of this class, the code that you'll run. So you'll just open the file location, locate the file, then type in CMD on the root path, and it opens the command prompt. Then the first thing that you are going to write is now git init that file path. Then the next thing is git add, then space, then full stop. Since now it will add all files, since we are not specifying the files. Then the next thing you're going to do is now git commit to the main, main to the main. So git commit hyphen main, then add a comment with that. Then the next thing you'll do is now git remote add origin, then paste the URL of the repository that you're going to add. Then the last step will be to push now to the main. So git push hyphen u main. Okay, no. Git push hyphen u origin main. Origin master, then origin main. Yeah. That's it. Refresh this time. That's it. So, okay. Think that's- So what you'll do is now let me share with this screen. So when you've gotten to this point of now deploying it, now you'll link the after as soon as you've deployed it in your GitHub repository, when you've created the Streamlit account, you sign in with GitHub. So that now when you deploy, you'll reference to that GitHub repository. Okay, as soon as I'm done fetching the passwords of the account, I'll create like a 2 minute video of the process. So don't worry about that. I'll create a short video. I fix the password. will be in a few. Yeah. So, is there any question rather than what I've explained? Don't worry when it gets to this part uh, of deploying. When you get there, you'll just I'll just create a short video then send it to you guys on what to do. Is there any question? Well, if there is no other question, I think we can adjourn today's class. Okay. Yeah. You guys have a fantastic evening. I think yeah, I'll just show you guys how to do it. I'll attach the files. There's been a lot of things going on today. I don't think most of you guys have understood what is happening, but I'll just attach a PDF that explains a bit better, a slightly better in a non-complex tone and non-complex manner. Then attach the commands that you're going to add in your bash. If you're using a Mac, then that will be a bit of an issue, but you can Google it. Since I'm using Windows, yeah, I'll show you the Windows way. Then send it to the group chat. Then now I'll assign you guys a simple task assignment. Then you deploy it and send it to my DMs, in which in this case will be in form of Streamlit URL. Is that okay? Okay, at this point, I'm not sure if you guys can hear what I'm saying. Can you just confirm with a thumbs up or just something like that? Okay, I think if one person hears me, I think the rest of you hear. So yeah, I think we'll proceed from there. You guys have a fantastic evening. Yeah, let's meet again, same time, same place tomorrow.